Salutations, all, and welcome back. Thank you for coming again to visit us. So, today we have something very special going on. We're going to travel back into time. We're going to bring one and a half great nations together in this dish. Now, there are some disclaimers, there are some things I want you to take into account to consider, all right? I want you to think of all of the things that you personally enjoy eating. Whether you're that weirdo that puts ketchup on things that don't need ketchup, or sugar into items that shouldn't have sugar in them, or you dip everything into ranch. There's someone out there that thinks what you're eating is absolutely disgusting. All right, so before you turn your nose up at this dish, remember that. Something you eat is disgusting. All right, so what are we cooking today? Well, before I tell you and you get into your feelings, first let me say this. There's no such thing as kid-friendly food. My child requested this meal. That's number one. For my, I don't want to say uppities, for my wine connoisseurs out there, for this you could go with a nice Chardonnay, maybe I don't know. I don't drink wine. You're going to have to Google that or use one of those apps or whatever. But it's probably something you're going to want to drink wine with this dish, okay? This is a crazy thing. It's going to scare a lot of people, but have faith. Because today, we are going to make snails. There we go, snails. See that? Everybody see it? Snails. All right. So, yes, they can be creepy. They can be crawly. If you watch them mate, you're going to lose sleep for at least a solid week and not be able to close your eyes. However, they're absolutely delicious. So instead of thinking of them as creepy crawly, slime trail leaving arthropods or what invertebrates, we'll correct that later. Think of them as deliciously sauteed meatballs or mushrooms even, all right? But it's all good, right? What do we do today? All right, we're going to do some sauteed snails with a cacio e pepe, which is Roman for cheese and pepper. Crazy easy dish. Let's get into this. All right, so let's look at the ingredient list for today. I know I say this a lot, but I truly do mean this. This is such a simple and easy thing to put together and to truly enjoy once you get past the weirdness. And, you know, my advice to you in serving it, if you don't tell people what it is and let them enjoy it first, then you can destroy all of their thoughts and beliefs, all right? A little story, let you guys in. I used to work for a very nice hotel chain here, and I took some snails, and I batted them, and I fried them like you would, you know, a nice fried mushroom, a little Italian breadcrumbs and all of that. Walked around the building with a little marinara and some ranch, and just let people eat them. The human resources director had the second one in their mouth and the third one in their hand, and she said, "These mushrooms are delicious." And I said, "Yeah, that's not what those are." And she didn't believe me, so I had to run back to the kitchen and grab the can to show her, why would I lie? I'm feeding you snails. That being said, it's not disgusting, especially if you've never tried it. Alright, so anywho, obviously we're going to need snails for this. I find these at Walmart. They're a little pricey, honestly, for the amount that you get out of them. But they are delicious. Alright. I open up the cans. I like to pour out the juice that they come in. I run a little cold water in there just to get all that stuff out. We're going to need some garlic. Now I've got some fresh garlic cloves I need to get rid of, so we're going to smash those down and use those. We're going to want some Parmesan cheese, a little salt and pepper, of course, an egregious amount of butter, because the half portion of this, that's what they use all the time, butter. They're real big on that. And the pasta that I'm going to use an angel here, very light, quick, easy, right? Very delicate. Be very careful when you are using angel hair. Now, over here on the stove, I've got my water starting to heat up and get to the point of usefulness. So this is how we're going to do this. Right. Oh, before I forget, I apologize. Also a little fresh parsley. And for tonight's dinner, we're gonna, or early supper if you're over 60, we are gonna do this with a little bit of broccoli, steamed broccoli. All right. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna season up the water a little bit, right? So I'm gonna take some of my salt, a little salt here, and remember it is cheese and pepper, right? Cheese and pepper, and I'm gonna add a little pepper to this water as well. It's the easy part. Once I get it up to a nice boil, I'm going to add my Parmesan cheese. Now, I have shredded Parmesan here. I also have some grated, I think. You can use grated, you can use shredded. It really doesn't matter. So you're going to add the cheese to that. Not so much that it makes it queso, right? But what's going to happen once you add the pasta is the starchiness and the cheese. It's going to create like a nice little sauce. It's like an upscale ramen, like, you know, BC ramen, all right? Then we're going to take our snails. We're going to smash down our garlic, and we're going to begin to slowly saute that with a little bit of olive oil to start off with. Then we're going to go in with our snails. We're going to mix in a ton of butter, finish it with some parsley, put it all together. Let's see if we can do this. All right, so our water is starting to come up here on the stove, right? I'm getting my pan here nice and hot, warmish. I don't want to say hot, but warmish. What I'm going to do is we're going to take the cheese here and, one moment, we're going to whisk in our cheese. Like I said, we've already added a little salt and pepper to our water. We're going to start adding our cheese. The grated cheese probably will blend in more easily. I just didn't want to get it out. Sorry. Alright, I'm just whisking this around to make sure that the cheese does not clump up at the bottom. Like I said, we're not necessarily trying to make a queso, right? We're going to let it do its thing. Whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to put a little olive oil in my saute pan there. And turn it down a hair. We're going to go in with our garlic. And I want to let this garlic do its thing for a minute. I smashed the garlic down, gave it a real rough chop. Heat. Give it a little rough chop. I want it to slowly release its delicious flavors and start to caramelize just a little bit before we proceed. Now, I'm paying extra special attention to the water because I'm using angel hair pasta. So angel hair is going to cook very, very quickly, and then of course can quickly overcook on you. So you want to be real good and ready before you throw it down in the water. Alright, so that cheese is pretty good and melty. And dissipate into the water there. Always remember to taste, right? We added a little bit of salt to the water, and of course we added the pepper. But the Parmesan cheese is also going to add a little bit of salt, so you'll want to make sure that you taste that before you hit the table and start to salt and pepper that. Alright. Let me struggle with this pasta real quick. Alright. I'm going to leave it extra long so it'll be really sexy on the plate. Alright. Alright. Let that cook on down. We need to, I don't really know if we need to. We're going to use one for now. You can always use that water to make a little more pasta if necessary. Alright, so we're going to let the pasta do its thing for a moment. We're going to put our attention on our garlic. Slowly heating that up. There, starting to get a little color on it. Which is what we want. A little caramelization. Sorry guys, I broke the handle off of this thing. It's very battle worn, otherwise I would lift it up and show you the color on that garlic. Let's see if we can do this without dropping it. Focus. Nope, can't do it. Alright. Now that we've got some color on our garlic, we're going to go in with our snails. And these don't take very long at all, alright? You're just basically going to heat them through and let them get that flavor. There we go. Alright. Sorry, I gotta nurse the pasta. Alright, we're going to go right in there with our snails. Remember, those have been drained and rinsed and drained again. We're going to hit these with just a pinch of salt and pepper. Smells good. Give those just a second to really heat through. Double check my pasta. Multitasking. Alright. Got our noodles there working out beautifully. Alright. Then we are going to go in with that redonkulous amount of butter that I spoke about, because that's going to help to make our sauce. So we have a sauce that's going to be made with the pasta, right? Because we're cooking it basically in cheese water. And then we're going to have a little bit of sauce from the snails and the butter, right? Go over very nicely. Have you figured out which nations we're talking about yet? Where do these foods come from? I mean, everybody associates snails with the country, right? But what about the pasta dish? Who was cooking pasta in cheese water? Gonna let you do your research and figure that one out. Can't give you everything. But Russell Crowe would be proud. Alright. Go back to our pasta. And I'm working the pasta over a lot, not because I'm worried about it sticking. I'm trying to release more and more of that starchiness playing around in the water there. Okay. Last bit of our butter melted. Get those snails moved around real nice in there. And last but not least, I'm going to take some of this nicely chopped up parsley. Shebang. Did you know parsley is good for freshening your breath? Remember that when you take your mask off and you're on a date. Alright, we've turned our heat off on that end. We're going to pull our pasta off the heat as well, because it is finished. Now, let's go over here. Alright, let's build this dish. Alright, so we got our pasta. Now, word of advice as well, you're going to want to undercook the pasta just a hair, right? Because remember, it is sitting in its sauce, and it will continue to cook as long as it's sitting in that hot liquid. We didn't cool it off like we normally would. Oh, cheesiness, let it go. Let it go. Alright, so we've got our fancy ramen, if you will. Yeah, that might be a little disrespectful, honestly. Alright, get off, dude. Pasta's on. Come over here. We're going to get some of that broccoli of which we spoke. Right there on the side for the kids. And then the piece de resistance. We want to get the juices on that, so we're going to tilt this pan. Get some of that butter juice. Boom, boom, boom. Cacio, pepe, and snails. Time for the royal tester. Oh, royal tester.
Haha. Let's test this dish.
It's like one of those mukbang videos. Mukbang? Whatever.
It is very good.
I can't see you.
It is very good.
Alright, from the mouths of babes, right? 10-year-old eating snails. That means you have no excuse. Either way, thank you for coming on this adventure with us. Life is short. Eat something strange. See you guys.